Ashley Banfield, special contributor here at Court TV, joins us now. And Ashley, I know this is a story you have followed so intensely, and it's in your neighborhood where all this is taking place.
Just down the street, in fact. So yes, this has been close to my heart, Vinny. And today, there's actually big news in this particular case. Even though Sunday is the one-year anniversary of the disappearance of Jennifer, the Connecticut State Police are actually now affirming that they are now expanding their search to a home where Jennifer used to live with her husband, Fotis Dulos. Now, at the time, they only had 2 children, but it was this massive, sprawling $3 million home that right now is unoccupied. But what's fascinating about it, Vinny, is that it's about 1.5 miles away from where Fotis lives, where he lived at the time of this disappearance. He is now dead. But it also has a 2,000-gallon septic tank that is sunken into the front sprawling part of the property. This is not the property that we're talking about. That's the place where Fotis ultimately took his own life at his $5 million mansion. There's a lot of $1 million mansions in this story. That septic tank is 16 feet deep as well. The police aren't confirming whether they're going to be looking into that septic tank, but that is a fascinating development that they're taking a second look at that home. In the meantime, you know, it's been a year, but for all of my neighbors and people I know around these parts, this mystery has not gone away.
It was the start of summer, exactly 1 year ago, when the affluent Connecticut town of New Canaan, just an hour from New York City, suddenly found itself in the middle of a vexing murder mystery. On May 24th, 50-year-old Jennifer Dulos had just dropped all 5 of her children at school. But that was the last anyone saw her. Effectively, she vanished.
Startling with 5 children. That's really disturbing.
Within days, her estranged husband, Fotis Dulos, would be arrested, along with his girlfriend, Michelle Troconis. He was a murder suspect with an uncanny resemblance to George Clooney and a jaw-dropping $5 million mansion. When divorce documents surfaced, the story grew more sinister and the coverage more dire.
I am afraid of my husband, Jennifer said in court papers. I know that filing for divorce will enrage him. I know he will retaliate by trying to harm me in some way.
Suddenly, the case of the missing mom was front-page news right across the country.
A missing mother of 5 who vanished from her wealthy Connecticut town in the middle of a bitter divorce battle. Police now looking into whether she was the victim of foul play.
With Jennifer's husband under arrest, the search went from this park in New Canaan, Connecticut, where they found her abandoned SUV, to Fotis' $1 million mansion, which is about an hour that way, to a landfill in an adjacent town, and really to just about anywhere the leads would take the police. But still, there was no sign of Jennifer. In the meantime, those 5 children were taken in by Jennifer's parents in New York City. It's about an hour that way. And at one point, they were being protected by armed guard. Yet, after one court appearance, a curious statement from their father.
Good afternoon. So, the only thing I have to say again, for one more time, is that my only concern are my children. I care deeply about them, and I can't wait to be with them again. That's it. Thank you.
Not a word about their missing mother. Nothing about Jennifer. Soon, a third man would be arrested and charged with a murder conspiracy. Kent Mawhinney, the civil lawyer representing Fotis in a separate family matter. And police would also discover surveillance video of Fotis and his girlfriend mysteriously dropping trash at about 30 different locations the night Jennifer disappeared. But on the day Fotis was to make a court appearance and likely have his bail revoked, breaking news at that massive Connecticut mansion.
When officers responded, they could see through a window that Mr. Dulos was sitting in his vehicle, and he had obvious signs of medical distress. Mr. Dulos was transported to Yukon Health by ambulance, where he is now listed as critical condition.
Fotis had attempted suicide at that beautiful home inside his garage by attaching a vacuum cleaner hose to his exhaust pipe and running it through his car window. His lawyers made an emergency court appearance.
I've had an opportunity to see Mr. Dulos, and his medical condition is dire.
Within days, Fotis Dulos was dead. His two alleged co-conspirators left facing trial without him. And residents were left still wondering about the mystery that lingers.
I hope for her family something, she gets found, or I don't think there can ever be closure, but I hope there is some resolution.
In suicide, Fotis Dulos took to his grave any secrets he may have known about Jennifer's whereabouts and left 5 young children with no mother and no father. And one big burning question 1 year later. What happened to their mother?
And I think, Vinny, that might be the most tragic part of all of this. Those 5 children, they are young kids. I don't think they're over the age of 16 at this point. 2 sets of twins and another child. They'll never know where their mother is. Those secrets may be gone forever, buried with Fotis Dulos' decision to take his own life. But that doesn't mean the case is over. The girlfriend and the lawyer, those cases are going forward. There's actually hearings scheduled just in the next couple of weeks here in Connecticut. And where they thought they might be able to get a deal before if they sort of turned and, gave state's evidence against Fotis Dulos, well, that may not happen now because there is no Fotis Dulos. There is no big cheese for them to squeeze against. They're going to just have to face the music on their own now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Michelle Troconis released a statement today, and I want to read that for everyone and get your reaction, Ashley. Again, Michelle Troconis, the girlfriend, says, "For the past year, people have said many things about me, some kind, some cruel. I was advised by my lawyers to remain quiet and rely on the justice system, which is very frustrating for me because there is a lot I would wish to say. As a mother, I am saddened for the loss that these 5 children have suffered, being left without both parents in such a short period of time. But despite the way I've been treated by police, I know nothing about Jennifer Dulos' whereabouts or what may have happened to her. To those who are quick to judge people they do not know, let me say this. It is possible to misjudge others. Whether or not Fotis Dulos was capable of doing the things the police and prosecutors accused him of doing, I do not know. But based on what I've learned in the last year, I think it was a mistake to have trusted him." Ashley,
I think
there's surveillance video. Right. Obviously.
You know what? This woman may go down as the more hated woman in America, and she'll surpass Casey Anthony for that statement. People have been mean to you. I mean, you don't know if Fotis did anything or didn't. I think she's in for a world of hurt. I get it. She needs a defense, but there's way too much evidence that puts her in a home right after Jennifer disappeared, and a truck went right to that home with Fotis in it and all sorts of bags. And that was the last anyone ever saw of Jennifer Dulos. And those two said they were inside cleaning a property of Fotis's. He's the president of a company. He doesn't spend 6 hours in an abandoned home cleaning it. So for her to put out that statement, she should have followed her lawyer's advice and kept quiet.
Yeah. Speaking of quiet, how's the neighborhood now? Reacted to all this, and what's been the long-term impact?
Well, obviously there was a lot of concern around these parts in the early offings of this story, right? I would say right up until about Fotis's death and slightly afterwards, because obviously she's still missing. There are very few people who believe that we will find Jennifer alive at this point. But Vinny, my son had a birthday today, and some of his friends came over for a social distant visit in the yard with their mothers. And I literally spent a half hour talking with these moms about the case. So it is still of interest. It is still a mystery. And, there's still investigation going on, and there is still these prosecutions. And I would venture to say that Court TV will be covering what happens when Ms. Troconis and Mr. Mawhinney walk into those courtrooms and assert their defenses.
Absolutely. Ashley Banfield, thank you so much.
Sure.